Once upon a time, two men decided if they were making the cut. Then they made the cut. And now JT and Aaron are talking everything from wrestling to pop culture and beyond, because it's no holds barred.
Will you back down, turn and run, or stand up with the best? When you're back to the wall, what will your answer be? Will you run for the door? Will you run out on me like it's hard?
Oh, no, son, it's no holds barred. No holds barred.
Oh, are you just accepting the Bostonian accent now?
No, I have spent my whole life rejecting that accent.
Bad. But didn't you just say
Awful.
bad?
I was just making fun of
The Bostonians?
Yeah.
Do you
Anyway.
do you loathe the people from Boston?
I don't like them.
Mm.
I find this self-important. I think they're cool, tough, but
Because they're from
those are a bunch of
Boston?
fucking whiners. Yeah, it's like their stupid identity. They just piss and
Bo-
moan about everything.
Like Boston's like an enemy city from Montreal too, right? Like it's just one of those.
No, I think they're an enemy city of everyone. Honestly, it's like no one really.
Really?
I feel like unless you live there, like.
Do they hate themselves?
Yeah, there's probably some self-loathing in there. I mean, they're mainly Irish, so I feel like that comes with the territory.
Oh, fucking Jesus Christ!
They're not really happy ever. Anyway, enough about that shithole. Let's talk about another shithole where I'd stick the enema if I could, and that's Pittsburgh. That's where we're headed tonight here on No Holds Barred. Yep. We do this, I don't know, twice a month, right? We're going through every WWE World Title change in company history in a chronological fashion, and we are ranking them all via a bunch of different metrics. And of course, you can hear this episode and see this episode if you want to do one of those other. You can hear it on our No Connection podcast feed on Podbean or any other podcast application, or you can watch us on our YouTube channel where you should be subscribed, checking everything. Because we do all kinds of content on both, and some are unique to each. So be sure to subscribe to both so you don't miss anything. Not everything simulcast like this show. We are here every week doing different fun and games. Our last episode was a lot of fun. It's a long one, but we went through rebooking every single Royal Rumble winner. It was a pretty cool project.
That was really tough towards the end.
Yeah, it got tough at the end, but the early parts were fun. And then, of course, we'll have our February Build-A-Card coming up. That's always a good time as well. We build our all-time pay-per-view card. So we got some cool stuff. Be sure to subscribe and don't miss any of it as well. Yeah. All right, Aaron, do you want to run down the categories of which we are ranking all of these matches?
Yeah, absolutely. If this is your first time, we rank these categories, each of us, in 5 different categories. Those categories being match quality, significance, the moment, build, and aftermath. And that gives us a nice round score out of 100. And there hasn't been a lot of movement in our top, although our last episode it snuck up all the way to number 4. But before that, it'd been a while since anything cracked the top 10. So I'm interested to see if this one has a chance, because it's got some pretty interesting dynamic factors to it that I think could nudge it slightly up.
This magic moment. I would say, yeah, this is a sneaky one. I think it's one you don't think of. I think everyone remembers the SummerSlam match, which is a classic. But this one's got some stuff going for it. It's got some great builds. We'll talk about. It's a good match. It's a great moment. And the follow-up maybe will hurt it, but we'll see where that goes. So
before we get in, just quickly, if the SummerSlam match, there's a moment towards the end, the SummerSlam, where Austin goes to kick Angle for the stunner, and Angle's all bloody, and he catches it. It's right near the end of the match before Austin gets DQ'd. If he catches it and fucking breaks his ankle and beats him there, is that the greatest match of all time?
It's top 5. I'd say top 5. Because the match is incredible as it is. I have it at 5 anyway. It's an all-time classic. Just to finish, but the finish works within the construct of Austin's character and story and all that. Yes. And honestly, it gives us this moment indirectly. I don't know if they were planning to have Angle win his hometown anyway, or
you think they knew about 9/11 before?
Yeah, they were in on it probably. So like this, no good, Jack Tony. There's definitely part of it that they looked into, right? So, all right, let's fire it up. We're on Peacock mainly. We're at 210.26. Angle's about to come out. wherever you're watching it, we're on a wide shot of the crowd, and there's a sign that says angle number 1. So,
But it's a letter sign. It's more than one person holding it.
yeah, it's multiple letters, and they have it in the right order. Good on them. They could have easily said
God.
Angel. Yes.
Angel.
All right, let's count it down.
Number 1.
3, 2, 1, go.
Are you not a fan of Angels?
Kirk Angel.
I think that might be the worst of Jericho's. Is that Angle's mom in the front row? Yeah, I don't know. Kirk. I like Stinko Malenko. I like my favorite is probably Ron Mysterio Jr. because it's just Hoot and Toot Guerrera. It's also good.
Tom and Nick Mysterio's current day is pretty good.
Yeah, that is like a genuine misunderstanding as opposed to an asshole mispronouncing.
Quasi Juice Guerrera.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good ones. I don't mind Kirk Angel.
No, I don't mind it. I like them all, but I think it's just the weakest. Angle, very apropos in the U.S. Tyson. We should give some context. This is 2 weeks after. Is it 2 weeks after 9/11?
Yeah, it might be a week after. I think this is the 9/11 would have been a Tuesday, so it's like a little less than 2 weeks because this is like probably the 22nd or whatever. I think.
Do you think by this point, Vince and Stephanie's back was hurting from patting themselves so hard on it?
Well, I mean, they kept that SmackDown, brought the union back together. This is an interesting day for me. So this is actually a big day in sports history for September 23rd, 11. So they go 2001. It's a really big day in NFL history and in American sports history. Do you know what happened on this day, Aaron?
No, but they're fighting in the aisle. But go on.
I was at the game this afternoon. It was the New York Jets versus the New England Patriots, where Tom Brady made his NFL debut after Drew Bledsoe was injured. So that was earlier this day. So it's a pretty big moment in NFL history in general.
Did they win?
The Jets actually won the game. Yes.
And that was the last time they beat the New England Patriots.
They beat them 10 years later in the playoffs. Can't wait. So this is a big day. So we went to the game. Me and my roommate Charlie went to the game. And we had the black box in our room senior year. So we recorded the show. And then we ended up we ended up watching the replay, I think. By the time we got home and settled in, we let it finish. And then because we had the box, we just watched it at like 11 or whatever, 10, whatever the time the replay was. And we recorded it. So it was a late night. But because I think it might have been a 4:00 game, or we just got home late. By the time we got home, we missed the beginning of the show. So,
I see.
Anyway, yes, the Americana is dripping heavily in the show. Being so close to 9/11, Kurt Angle. It's a great show. It's a great pay-per-view year.
I'm surprised. Oh, incredible pay-per-view year. Like really underrated because when you think back of the storyline, you're like, the invasion sucked, but like the in-ring is incredible. Yeah, I mean, you got it's on this show, you got this match, you've got RVD Jericho, which is great. The Rock, Booker T, Shane, which is great. Undertaker and Kane against Chronic,
which is like a guilty pleasure favorite of mine. So yeah, I mean, this whole run is good, and this is probably one of the weaker shows, and it's still really, really good.
I know.
No Mercy is great. The next month.
Oh, No Mercy is amazing, but to me, this show has 2 4-star matches on it, so like it's.
I mean, it is one of the weaker, right? The weakest ones are probably those spring ones, Backlash and Judgment Day, but
like when they're finding their identity.
Yeah. And we've come a long way, right? So 2 weeks ago, we covered WrestleMania 17. We're talking about Austin becoming a heel and how did that work. And here, he's in the middle of one of the greatest heel runs of all time for a main event star. This.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to talk about the build to this, right? But what's part of the build is Milkomania, right? Wind Beneath My Wings. Like all the Austin Angle when he throws him off the bridge, right? He shoots him with the water gun. Yep, the hats.
All their hugs, like it's all there.
Well, that's before this. That's before SummerSlam. But
it's still
if you want to count it, it's still counted.
Yeah.
But just from SummerSlam to here is the bridge, is Milkomania, Wind Beneath My Wings. Like all that is building up to this. So
the best part of Wind Beneath My Ring is the fucking bouncing head, pissed off Austin face that becomes big at the end. That to this day destroys me. Is that the dressing down of Taz too?
Yes, I was gonna say that's also the debut of what I believe is
take the shirt off. Yeah.
What? Yeah, I mean that's also the what I think what debuts in that. It might be in that segment. I think he does it with Taz. So that's a huge night, and that's dressing down of Taz. What debuts? Milkomania. The Wind Beneath My Ring. Like that's all one big fucking segment. Helms.
You get the
What does Helms
hurricane
do?
comes out of it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's the Green Lantern tattoo. I used to my favorite superhero, but now that's you. We got fucking an amazing promo from Canyon where he goes, for years, the question has always been,
Yes, yes.
who better than Canyon? Well, now we know, Stone Cold, it's you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
That's an amazing. I feel like that segment does not get talked about enough when they looked at the history of the company
it's so
and
good.
like the greatest moments. I rewatched that fucking segment a million times. It's iconic. It's so good. So I think like all that, I mean,
the cookies, she's trying to push the cookies on everyone too during that segment.
So to me, we can just put the build as a 10 right now. Like I don't know of a better, and SummerSlam is a 5-star match with like a crazy finish. Like,
yeah.
And what does he pile drive him on the floor? Isn't that after? That's before this match too, I think. Right? Austin pile drives Angle on the floor to try and break his neck. I think that's leading up to this.
So it's got the comedy and like the deadly serious.
Yes, it's like, it's an all-time feud.
To me, that's the best part of this Austin character in this era is he's fucking hilarious, but also completely unhinged and dangerous at the same time. Yeah. I've never seen a character like that. Like usually it's one or the other, right? Like
it's,
like R-Truth isn't dangerous. You know, he's not he's hilarious, but like I don't think he's gonna break someone's neck on the floor. Pile driver.
I mean, there's a reason he was when we did one of those drafts, right? In 2023. Didn't we do like an all-time character draft wrestling year? Yeah. And Austin was like the top.
Of course.
Austin 01 was like one of the top picks, right? So it's like it's an iconic run. I mean, it's crazy because when you think of Austin, you think of Austin McMahon and the 98, 97, 98 character, but it's like he ran it back and had a run just as good as that somehow.
Even when he's on commentary and he's like, "Oh, I hate those knife edge chops," like he playing up, and then you on top of it, like we're not listening to it, but you got Heyman cheering him on the whole match, but also scared of him, calling him Mr. Austin, and because that's the dynamic.
Is it crazy to think like you could sit here and say my favorite Austin run is 01 over 98 over 97? I mean, I don't think it's even crazy to say it.
No, I don't think so. But they're actually in a lot of ways hard to compare because they're so vastly different.
Right, they're like different people. And the matches are better in 01 because they're different, right? They're wrestling versus the brawls. So, I mean, Angle's just kicked the shit out of him to start this match. Like, he's knocked him off the ramp. Angle is a man possessed in this match. Yeah.
He's the only guy that can pull off that singlet, like, and still look completely credible also. Like, I find anybody else because look, not that Angle's not in shape, but I don't think he has like an intimidating physique. But this guy with this look in his eye and it's like no thanks, I'm good. Well,
and it's coming off SummerSlam where we saw that they're both fucking maniacs and have that bloodbath. You know, when Austin is banging Angle's head off the fucking post in that match is so disgusting.
And don't sleep on Angle's year either. Like Angle's had he's got the No Way Out match. He's got the match with Shane, like that. He's got
when Marcus and I did the season awards, what drove me nuts about that Mania, and why we talked about this in our last episode. How WrestleMania 18 is like one of the most rebooked Manias because Angle and Austin have this amazing year, and then come Mania, they got nothing to do. It's like nuts.
Just put them together. Just put them together.
Get one more match. No, we talked about it last episode. What the way to go would have been Angle, Triple H, Hogan, Rock for the title. Yeah. And Austin RVD. Austin RVD for the title.
I love the way Austin is slouched in the ramp when he's getting beat up. Like he's got nothing left. He's crouched in a ball.
He's just completely done with this fucking guy. He's just done with him. He's like, I'm done with fighting this fucking guy.
He's too hard to fight. I love how this is the second match in a year that Angle has to carry someone to the ring because he's beating him up so badly.
Right. And you have his whole family there, hometown crowd. And like he's been taken from a bit of a comedy guy because even his initial title run, we talked about it on previous episodes. Like, he's got the love triangle, but he's kind of a goof with Triple H and Stephanie. Even when he wins the title, it's a little fluky at No Mercy. This feud is really what loses it. Right. But even this feud is really what legitimized the Benoit feud helped. But like this angle with Austin and these matches, what turned him into like badass killer Kurt Angle. Like this is what did it.
Yeah. And they're about to have a better match the next month that we're not going to talk about, but like
Right.
that triple
Well, and
threat
there's
with
the one on
RVD.
Raw that we'll talk about
Yeah,
in a minute. But
we will talk about, but I can't remember if that one's as excellent. I'm sure it's great,
yeah.
but like the match the next month with RVD and the triple threat is like another all timer. Like,
yeah. No, it's
yeah,
it's a great match.
it's two guys just converging at exactly the right time. And
Yeah.
then like and like look, and then there's a big elephant in the room that like there was that horrible terror attack and the nation is like is trying to rebuild, and it's the American hero fighting for the belt. Like
well, and it's perfect timing that Angle was the face, because in most years with this company, he would have been the heel at this time. And later in the year, it's that way. Austin turns face and Angle turns heel by December. But here in this one moment in time, you have it. It was perfect destiny that Angle was the top face of the company. Because Rock isn't even, he's around, but not like really around. I mean, Angle's kind of been the top guy, which you don't think of at this time, but he's really been the top face.
But
for June, July, August, September.
Is it any surprise that this is such an amazing pay-per-view year with this guy on top? Like, you know,
right. Yeah.
I know the undercards are great too, but like, you know, when you step back for a second, it's like, well, of course. Like, is this Angle's best in-ring year?
Yeah, because it's after this. I mean, 02 is up there. Because you get the Ray match, you get the tag SmackDown 6 stuff.
Yeah.
And then he gets hurt at the end of the year.
The tag match, the tag stuff, I'm not going to denigrate it at all, but I feel it's not the same as like having a bunch of great singles matches, you know, like.
Right. I mean, 01 is probably it. I mean, yes, it's hard to argue because you got, I mean, the Triple H match of the Rumble is kind of whatever, but then you get him and Rock is awesome. You get the Benoit series, you get him and Shane invasion. Then you get these Austin matches, you get the triple threat with RVD, and it's not even counting all the fucking TV stuff. Like, isn't the match with Benoit where he does the moonsault off the friggin' top of the cage? Like,
that's the match that Austin's watching, and he's complaining about taking Benoit's chops.
Right.
Oh, I don't like those.
He's got a good match with. He's got a good match with Booker on Raw in here too. So like, he's got a lot. Yeah, he's. I mean, yes.
Doesn't he win the U.S. title from someone? Is it Booker?
I think it's Booker. I think it's Booker. Yeah.
And then Rhino or Kenny.
That's the IC. But yes, it's I'm pretty sure he beats Booker on Raw for it. But it's I mean, yes, this is his best year. Because he's fully healthy. He doesn't give a shit about anything physically. No. He's just going out there being insane. And I think it's the year where his character and his in-ring were the most balanced. This future years where he's an amazing wrestling machine, but he loses the comedy.
He's trying to sexual assault Booker T's wife.
Yeah, like 05, he has he's like a machine, right? He's a sick wrestling machine. He's got the Michaels matches, the Cena stuff. Like, he's great, but he loses the fun aspects of his character. This year he blends the comedy and the
murder
skewness, right? Like aloofness with just being an amazing in-ring worker. So it's the year where it all really comes together for him.
He's also really good in that promo where Flair comes back, where he's like backing up Vince. Yeah, Vince. Yeah, fucking douchebag.
Yeah, he's just he becomes the preppy, like the jock of like Vince being the angry principal, and Angle's like the jock, a student, like in an old school kind of setup or something. You know what I mean? He's like he becomes that guy for Vince, right? Like the asshole jock. After this, so. Yeah,
look, I'm always a big fan of heels that can actually back up their mouths.
Yeah,
because I find they do it so infrequently, and it's like you can't really do anything to Angle to make him unlegitimate because he's the Olympic medalist. So they have no choice but to book him this way.
Yeah, I mean, he's never a chicken shit, really. I guess the closest is what, like the early 03 when he's got the neck. The beginning, but the early 03 with Heyman where he's trying to duck Brock, but like he's hurt and all that. So they're kind of just trying to survive.
Also Brock.
Yeah, it is Brock, yeah. But I mean, so this match has been great. Like, so Angle kicks the shot, Austin takes over. Now he's just punishing the neck. Everything is out the neck.
And Austin,
which pays off the pile driver on the floor.
Yes, they both have broken necks. A special broken neck match.
But I like the blood here because he's not. It's not like a bloodbath. It's just like he's been beaten up.
Yeah,
it's like a scar.
and it's early in the match. Like
Yes.
it's not late
Yeah.
that he's bleeding. Like I like that too.
Yeah, it's right away.
I'm sure. I don't want to spoil the end. I was saying, are we gonna get a slow count from Hebner? But we're not.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I think the more this goes and we talk about it, like we always talked about what are those unlikely contenders that could sneak in, and I feel like we're watching one unfold right here.
Yeah, it's just gonna get dinged on Aftermath.
Well, let's talk about it for a minute because I don't want to. The match is gone, but so
Yeah.
2 weeks later, Regal turns heel, right? And we'll talk about that. But Austin's still great. We get the No Mercy match, and we get Angle as the mole, right? He infiltrates the alliance.
But that's not the aftermath of this match. It's the aftermath of the next match.
Yeah, but you included the build, like I guess because it wasn't a title change, it's okay.
It wasn't a change. Yeah,
I didn't mean that sarcastically. I'm asking. Yeah.
No, I didn't take it that way. But that was my thought, is that if the title had changed at SummerSlam, we wouldn't have talked about the cowboy hats and shit. But because we did, it's in the reign, right? And it is them connected together.
You also get the Shivani moment of remember they hyped that as being like the biggest night in Raw history. Like tune in, they hyped it big that they were having a title match. There is some. I mean, it's the second only title change of Raw history. We'll talk about it. I guess we'll save that for next one. But so it's a big moment. They don't do a lot of title changes at that point.
It's third or fourth.
Well, no, because you had Sid Brett. Was there another one? Oh yeah, Austin Kane. That's right. We've done a few. What am I saying?
Austin Kane.
It's a rare one.
Undertaker. Yeah. The one you were at.
Right. What am I saying? Yeah.
How are you forgetting that?
No, that's late. There's not many. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
But they did hype the shit out of it that night. I remember everything. They were like, tune in tonight, the biggest night, and it was Regal turning. But they protect Angle. Doesn't he have like his hand under the ropes or something in that? Or is that this match?
There's some bullshit, but I actually don't like that. Like it's like, why do it at all then? Like it
might be this match. We got to see. It might be this match. Does he tap and Austin's under the ropes?
I'm not sure. Like we'll I think I'm curious if, because I remember does the title change 2 weeks later make this feel like they only did it because of 9/11?
Yes, but
right.
I think there's a chance they were going to do it anyway.
Yeah, but that's why I don't know why I almost wish they would have let Austin just keep the belt, Angle just keep the belt till the next month.
Right. And just have Austin win the triple threat.
They're all in the match anyway.
Yeah.
And Austin does win.
I think they really wanted to do the Regal turn. And they were just like, that's the way to do it, I guess. I don't know.
Do it at the next pay-per-view.
I'd have to go back. I wonder if we talked about this with Kevin Kelly when we did a PTB 01. If we asked him if Angle was always going to win here, because it feels like it's in Pittsburgh. Like it feels like he was going to.
I know that too. But they don't. They never do that.
Yeah, but at this time they kind of did, and I don't see Austin beating him twice in a row and then again at No Mercy. Like to me, that doesn't make sense. Like I don't know. I guess Angle won at SummerSlam technically, but
yeah.
I think he was going to win in his hometown with the family there, no matter what. And then they were just going to do a quick reign and get it back on Austin to set up him and Rock.
Yeah, I guess I just don't understand why they wouldn't wait another 2 weeks. Because that's kind of what it amounts to, or maybe 3.
I'll tell you what it was. The Raw ratings were starting to go down at that time. They started to drop after, and they were starting to hotshot and panic a bit because they hotshotted the invasion. They were doing more stuff on Raw. And I remember this being a talking point that like, the ratings, you start to see the signs, right? It was like we talked about WCW, like, oh no, they're red hot, everything's going great. But you start seeing those leading indicators, attendance or ratings. And like, I remember they were panicking a bit. So they might have panicked and did the title change to pop a rating or a big night is part of it. Like that could have been a piece of it as well.
Yeah.
And they wanted Austin to be champion of Survivor Series. That's for sure.
Yeah, but they had No Mercy in the way. But I get what,
I know. I just think Raw was super important to them still, and the ratings. If we went back and looked, I'm sure they're still compared to now. It's probably like a 3.8 or a 4 something, and they were like, oh, they're slipping.
Yeah.
But,
well, they're getting 8s 2 years earlier.
Right. So I do think
it's interesting that I buy it, and it's interesting that the ratings mindset is still there despite the fact that they're not in direct competition anymore. It's almost like an old habit. Not that it wouldn't.
It's gonna die for Raw in a year when it's on fucking Netflix. So
what a weird thing that is, eh?
Yeah.
Like,
it's weird to think you're gonna have to pay to watch Raw. That's the weirdest part of it.
in Canada, for a long time you always had to.
Right. So I guess for you it's similar.
Well, I mean,
but it's not like it's the
like,
only thing. I mean, SmackDown's still going to be available to everyone, so it's not like it's the only option.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I guess it makes sense.
Well, they kind of wanted like all the avenues covered, right? So they had NXT is on broadcast TV, going to be on broadcast TV. SmackDown's on cable, and Raw will be streaming.
You know who the real winners in this might be is AEW, because the USA Network opening up a slot on Monday nights gives them some pretty big negotiating power if they wanted to, like.
Right. Well, and it takes
like,
Max and Turner out of, because they were rumored for a bit to be in the Raw talks.
Yeah, that's right.
And it also sets a template if they wanted to move them to Max, like some of the shows to Max. Like I could see a world where Dynamite stays on TBS or whatever, and they put Collision and Rampage on Max, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, back to this match,
I think
which again is completely underrated.
It's so great. Like everything looks legit. Everything it looks like two guys who know each other super well, that are tired of fighting each other but know how to get into each other's skins. It's not the type of match like Hogan Warrior where it's two gods, it's two fighters. Right. Like it's
that have history. It has it's gritty. That's a great word for it. They have like there's this. It's personal. It's personal. Like and you don't think of it maybe as personal until you watch the feud play out and you realize how personal it really was and what they did to each other.
They're fighting over Vince's love 4 months ago.
Yeah, and it just exploded into this.
And then the other thing too is that like I don't know if this was ever explored, but like how Angle was kind of betrayed by Austin in that Invasion match.
Yes. Yep.
Because the turn happens on Angle, right? Like
yes. Yep. And I mean, would you argue that outside of Brock, modern Brock, is this the stiffest world title feud they ever did? The hardest hitting, and I'm not talking the weapon shit. Like take out the Mankind and Brock with the chair shots and all that shit. Outside of Brock, like bludgeoning Roman Reigns and John Cena and whatever, I feel like I can't think of many other world title feuds that are like this vicious and hard hitting and realistic.
This might be more than those because the Brock matches, they have like moments of that and then a lot of standing around, a lot of suplexes, whereas this is like these all look like fights. Like
yes, I think you could argue it's the stiffest like feud they did it for the world title in company history. I mean, I between this SummerSlam match, this match, No Mercy, they just kicked the shit out of each other. And everything feels hard hitting.
I don't want this to sound too hyperbolic, right? But I feel like this style and these two together might be the best form of WWF match possible. In that it has all the intensity of stiffness of like a Japanese match, like what you'd get out of like a strong style match in Japan, but still has all the emotion and heart of the WWF characters.
Right.
Like and the storylines behind it and the pomp of it and like
it just sucks that this style, because it's such a good year built on this style, but the style leads to so many major injuries in this year, like broken hands, broken backs, broken necks, like everyone fucking gets hurt. Triple H, Benoit, Booker T, Austin, Angle, like they all just, I mean, look at that pile driver was sick. Just destroying his neck. So it sucks that style, which is so enjoyable, and it's such a blip in time because they had to go away from it because so many guys are breaking down from it.
Yeah, well, it's if they had just kept it on pay-per-view, they probably would have been fine.
Right.
But I'm sure they're doing this on house shows too, right?
And all the TV. I mean, Raw, SmackDown. Those Austin Benoit on SmackDown is like fucking insane. I mean, those guys kick the shit out of each other. Then they do it again at King of the Ring 2 weeks later, and Benoit's neck explodes in the fucking match.
Yeah. But that's the
Might have been better
Japan
off if
thing, is
it
that,
exploded permanently, but it's neither here nor
yeah,
there.
if he died there, like if he died in the ring there, we would look at that as a tragedy, but we
Mhm.
would all trade it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. All right, here we go. Ankle locks in. I think this is the finish. I think he is under the ropes. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know why I stepped a bit behind, but yeah, the ankle locks in. Oh,
Yeah, this is the finish. He taps with his hand on the
Well,
rope.
is this?
So I think that
Oh
helps
yeah,
set
yeah,
up
yeah.
the
He's got the
rematch.
mat. He's got the mat. Yeah, he's got the
Yeah.
mat in his hand.
I think that helps set up the
Crowd.
rematch. Oh,
The crowd
insane.
loses their shit. Yeah.
And it's an all-time. We'll get the celebration here in a minute. They all get in the ring and they're carrying him around.
Yeah, yeah.
So look, I don't give a shit if it's because of 9/11 or not. We got the moment, right? Daniel Bryan
I'm
at
not.
30, right? That wasn't supposed to happen, but it happened and it's insane. Hogan beats Iron Sheik. Probably wasn't supposed to happen. It's an insane moment in
Yeah, yeah.
time. So
Yeah,
yeah, so
me
it's supposed-
asking it.
Right,
I'm
right,
not denigrating it at all. I'm more just curious.
but it does hold up regardless. Like it's worth it. Well, it's worth the 9/11. No, I mean it's whether it's supposed to happen or not, it doesn't matter. It happens, and it's an incredible moment of celebration. He finally beats Austin. And I normally I don't like when a guy has a group or stable that he relies on that doesn't get involved in a major match. But I think here, because it's Steve Austin, and that wasn't really the style of the alliance. They didn't really usually get involved in his shit. So I like that it was just right. It was just them one-on-one, and that was it. An angle, and it was hard hitting, but there wasn't a bunch of gimmick shit. We didn't get a million chair shots and weapon. It was just two guys kicking the shit out of each other. When I did this for War, I went 4 1/4. I forgot to rock him out. I went 4 1/4, and I'm sticking with that. Like so. For match grade, for our purposes, you're going 10.
No, oh, I didn't mean that. I'm going
Okay,
9.
I was gonna say, holy shit.
Yeah, 9. Because I'm with you. It's 4 1/4, but it's closer to 4.5.
Yeah. Yeah, 9.
Yeah. Okay, where I'm struggling a bit with significance because it's a blip, but it creates an all-time moment, right? But it is a blip. Like it's
oh, look at
fucking Eric Angle in the ring. Eric Angle helped him get there. He took the shots from the Undertaker a couple years earlier.
I agree.
Still hot there.
But it's like Angle, like he finally beats Austin. It's significant to the story. It's a significant within the alliance invasion angle that WWF gets the title win, gets the belt off of Austin for the first time. Like that's kind of a significant moment in that storyline.
But
him winning in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but
I know, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the significance of the moment. We had this argument last time, right? Significance is the title change itself, not the aftermath.
Yeah.
It was the same discussion we had at 17.
I just don't think it's super strong because I think all the intangibles are in moment and build and like.
Yeah, but I don't think it sucks. I think it's important. No. Like to me, it's like a 6.
I'm going 5.
All right.
But we're not far.
All right. Moment is a 10.
I'm going 10 for moment, and I'm going 10 for. We already said 10 for build.
Oh, 100%. It's the build is amazing. So aftermath, I don't really recall the week in between. And again, they hype it up as the biggest night in Raw history. Blah blah blah. Regal helps. We'll talk about it next time. But
I don't love that. I want to see the time distance. Is it 2 weeks?
It's 2 or 3 weeks. I forget.
September 23rd is Unforgiven. And the next one is
10-8.
It's
2 weeks.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks in a day.
It is a big part of the invasion storyline, the aftermath, though. Like, so we can give it a little.
Yeah.
I would give it a little credit for that. Like a 4, maybe.
Yeah, I'm going 4. That's what I was thinking.
All right. So that gives us a 77, which is pretty fucking high. I mean, like this was not on my radar. It was not on my radar until we put it on just now, and it resonated with me what was coming. Like, because I think forever, SummerSlam in my mind was amazing, and this was like a 3.5. And then when I watched it for War, I was completely enveloped in it. I'm like, this is amazing. I'd forgotten how great the match was.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the SummerSlam 2001 main event with Punk and Cena. Yeah, everyone remembers the big one in Chicago, but that match is like it's like just as good, but just without the atmosphere.
Right.
So it kind of reminds me of that one like that.
All right. So I did not. I mean, this is
Nope.
an upset to me, for sure.
Yeah, we're losing
It's our
another,
sixth best.
another.
It's our sixth best of all time.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I didn't. If you would ask me two or 3 months ago when we were trying to project out what could crack the top, I would
No.
not have had this on the list.
No way.
But I don't think anything we have here is questionable. Maybe the aftermath. Maybe we're being a little too generous, but not by much.
No, I don't think so. Because we didn't. It's not garbage. Like, look, like for me, like, 3-4 for me is like a baseline usual in
Mhm.
these. In usual, when I'm rating matches, a 5 is a baseline. But for this, it's a little bit different. So it's like if you're getting to a 0 or a 1, it's that your aftermath like hurt the promotion, right? So that's more where I'm thinking on that. No, I don't have any problems with our scores. I think maybe you could say the build if you didn't enjoy those particular things, but then
The
where's your
build's
soul?
amazing. I will not be questioning.
Yeah.
I will not be questioning about the build because it really starts right after King of the Ring.
Yeah.
And that's when they start with the hugging Vince, the sheriff hats, the ukulele, the fruit tray, the cookies, like the Milkamania, the SummerSlam match, the pile driver on the floor, the bridge, wind
The
beneath
song.
my ring, the dressing down of Taz. Like, I mean, like all of it. And we're probably
the shirt
missing
off.
stuff. Right.
Take
probably missing
the shirt off. My favorite is when he goes from take the shirt off to take the shirt. And he's whipping him with a belt. His belt.
It's so good. It's so good.
Does he call Molly Holly a bimbo in here too? It's in here.
I think so.
It's
Yeah.
like
I highly recommend the Action DVD. If you can find it, if you don't have it, you can find it like on Amazon or something. That DVD is a recap of basically 2001. So it's got all the highlights. It's got all that stuff in order on the DVD. It's an incredible DVD. I have the tape and the DVD from that time, and it's like one of my favorites of all time. Because this is all 01 matches and moments, which is like an all-time year. When you don't give a shit about, like, in the time you're obsessed with, oh, they're ruining WCW, they're blowing the invasion, but when you can look back at it without really giving a shit about it, and you see how much great stuff was happening week to week.
And risks for a company that doesn't take risks. They took risks this year.
Yeah. 01 is one of my favorite years of being a fan, just because of where I was in life. Like, senior year of college, like all in. My roommates were all in. Like, it was just like, and even that summer was great. It was just a really good time of like having a lot of friends that were into the product. The product was red hot. Every week was awesome. There was so much good stuff going on. It was just a really underrated time, like to be really in all in on the product.
And we were the right age for this product.
Yes.
Like the product grew up with us, right? And like, so we went through the rebellious years of like the Attitude Era, and this is still Attitude, yes, but it's the tail end where it's getting more serious. And at our age at that point, we're getting more serious. It's a perfect storm. So producer Tim has got the graphic ready. Let's break down the top 10. Because there's a new top 10. Farewell to the top 10 to Randy Savage versus Ric Flair from WrestleMania 8. Sad to see it go. But now sitting at number 10, Mankind defeating The Rock. Monday Night Raw, January 4th, 72 points.
It's making me antsy that this is going to drop at some point, because we're obviously going to have others get into the top 10. Also on the chopping block here at number 9 is Steve Austin versus The Rock. WrestleMania 15 is 73 points.
Yeah. Andre the Giant at number 8. The graphic disappeared. Andre the Giant, number 8. From the main event, February 88 with...
All right, maybe it's the wrong one. There we go.
75 points. There we go.
Okay. Number 7, Hulk Hogan defeats the Iron Sheik, January 84 MSG at 76 points.
Number 6, tonight, Kurt Angle defeats Steve Austin, 77 points. Unforgiven 2001.
Number 5, Ric Flair wins the 1992 Royal Rumble, 78 points. Greatest Royal Rumble performer ever.
Performance. Number 4, Steve Austin defeats The Rock, 85 points. WrestleMania X7. That's our last episode.
Number 3, Bret Hart over The Undertaker with 90 points. I like that 17 kind of bridged that big gap that we had for a long time between 5 and 3. Or it was 4 and 3 forever. Now there's at least like a little tier in between. So Bret Taker's at 90 from SummerSlam.
I always find with the gaps, it's like, oh, did we fuck up?
Right.
Did we underrate?
That's war.
Number
That's
2.
every episode of war for me.
Right. Oh, we got to go back and do this year now. Redo it. Number 2, Steve Austin defeating Shawn Michaels, 93 points, WrestleMania 14.
And our number 1 title change of all time is Montreal, Survivor Series 97. Shawn Michaels over Bret Hart, 94 points. So, yeah, I mean, again,
Steve Austin, he's got 4 matches in the top 10.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be it now for him, right?
I don't think the Raw match is going to be on there, and that's it. Yeah.
No, and then he doesn't win the title again.
So, yeah, I mean, at least 3 will stay. I don't know. Maybe this one could be perilous. Or I mean, Austin Rock is probably perilous from 15. This one may be okay. This one surprised me. I think there'll be more. I'm sure that surprise us.
I think the surprises are fun.
Yeah, for sure. And this is the first time since 97 where we had a couple in a row. Like 97 also we had Boom 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 and or 97, 98. Now like here we are, like 17 made the list. This one made the list. So we'll see. Again, we'll be back in a couple weeks. We're going to do Austin Angle rematch on Raw, the one we talked about a lot tonight. So we'll cover that. And then after that, a month from today, we'll have Vengeance 01, which is Austin Jericho. So that's a pretty big night. Yeah. And then we'll go from there. I mean, we got some interesting ones coming. We'll see. So stay with us. We're here every Saturday, No Holds Barred. You can find us occasionally on Wednesdays as well with What If. Those are quick, short videos where we just kind of ponder some random what if questions in wrestling history. And again, lots of great content. We have Ryan and I going through every WrestleMania match ever. Those in the short format. So subscribe to that. Watch us count those down. And just you never know what else is coming. Tier lists, countdowns, arguments, fights, love, all the things on No Holds Barred and beyond. Subscribe. Drop the dookie. We are out. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, jackass.